Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Greetings, race fans, and welcome to Apex Racing TV's presentation of the Radical Esports Cup. J.R. Gregory here with you on the call. Beside me in the commentary booth, Tom Dillon, and our producer today, longtime producer, Joshua Wilkie. And the star of today's show, you're watching it around the track right now. It is the Radical SR10. 425 horsepower, only 725 kilos, no traction control, and no ABS. And folks, we are showing the top split of the public servers here, Friday 2100 GMT, as we do every week. So this is not a private event. This is not a league event. So if you would like to take these radicals for a whirl and appear with us here on Apex Racing TV, give it a whirl. And I promise you, you will not be sorry. These cars are fantastic, and mastery of the SR10 will make you better at every car that you drive. Listen to this upcoming schedule. We have got Suzuka, Laguna Seca, Road Atlanta, Silverstone, Monza, Road America, Phillip Island, Sebring, and the all-important season finale at the Green Hell. So this week, here we are at 2024, Season 2, Week 3. We are at the Red Bull Ring, located in Spielberg in the Styrian Mountains of Austria. Racing began in this area in 1969 at the Österreich Ring, longtime site of the Formula One Austrian Grand Prix. The current facility opened in 2011 after laying dormant for several years. It is current host, of course, to Formula One and a ton of motorcycle racing. Today's configuration, 4.3 clicks, 2.7 miles, 10 turns. And Carlos Sainz has the track record here of 105.619 in the McLaren back in 2020. A little surprised that that record is still standing. But Tom, Red Bull Ring is seems like a love it or hate it kind of track. It's quite challenging, and it presents a couple of significant obstacles. So what are your keys to the race for these radicals here this afternoon?
Well, first and most important one has got to be how you manage the traffic here. We've got a pretty decently sized grid. If you're in the slipstream, you're going to be probably gaining quite a lot on the car ahead. So you don't want to be in the lead in the early stages. You want to be behind someone, hoping that you can just use their toe effectively to help you get through into this race. My other key has got to be then pick your moment. Obviously, if you're trying to win the race, you don't want to be leading into the final lap just because of how this track is. It's essentially an oval, particularly Sector 1 and Sector 2. It behaves much like an oval, so you just want to make sure that you're picking your moment to attack, and that is how you're going to win this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And something else, I guess I would point out, I threw down some laps here yesterday and in the practice session leading up to this race. And just like in F1, folks, you get those black and white flags ready because track limits are a bear here. You have got to find the absolute limits, and you spent a lot of time driving in the green here, and if you're not real careful, those X's pile up. And also I'm going to be keeping an eye on the entry to turn 1. That's the first corner off the straight, and the entry to turn 3, that challenging kind of uphill left-hand hairpin that we see. Are we looking at that now? No, not quite, but you'll know the one I'm talking about. Super difficult uphill low speed corner, and causes these radicals to fight for traction both on the entry under braking and putting down the power. You got to be very judicious with that throttle pedal or you're gonna loop it, and I promise you we're gonna see some of that here today. So here we are riding along with Sem Canopes, and I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but he's currently sitting in P3 in qualifying, and some new names here. And these radical folks have been working pretty hard to add tracks that will draw new drivers to the series, and they have been largely succeeding. We had about 40 drivers here this afternoon, 2100 GMT, and a couple of splits. And there's your qualifying results so far. It's Lip from Iani, from Nopes, from Barry, from Thurman, and my goodness, look at Christoph Lip, Tom, 125.8. That is absolutely cooking, and he absolutely has mastery of the track limits on the backside and some of those difficult braking and acceleration areas that are so important here at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, well, he's carrying that German, Austrian, Swiss license, so his local track, we can judge that, and well, certainly a really, really good lap time. He's 4 times a second faster than Iani, 4 times a second around here, not as much as other places on the calendar. It's really, really close lap time right there. So on board with Jorge Gonzaga, let's see what he can do as he makes his way up into sector 3. Pick up the 50 board here, dipping in. I'm surprised he's not running 3rd gear actually for this part of the track, but he runs 6th gear through there, and actually looks like down to 4th. I was looking at the display, so he was down in 5th, down in 3rd. He's going to open the car up a little bit here, use all the track on the left-hand side. Now up to one of the trickiest corners on the circuit. Track limits here on the outside line. Very, very tricky. He'll go down to 4th again. Watch those track limits. He's right on the AstroTurf to dip it into the final corner. Again, find the AstroTurf on the left-hand side. Open the car up again, and that's at least is half a lap around here at the Red Bull Ring. Interesting that the display doesn't update there.
Yeah, that was, that came up in the Radical race over the weekend. It looked like someone was starting off in 6th gear, but I think iRacing is hiding that from us on these in-car cameras for whatever reason. And you can see it on our SDK software, the drivers putting the car through the gears while the steering wheel display is just sitting there in 6th. And there goes Gonzaga. He's looped it on that very difficult uphill, low-speed left-hander, and a little bit of a commentator's curse there, as I predicted we'd be seeing that, and that's not the last time we're going to see a Radical spinning in a cloud of smoke at that location. So that is going to wrap up qualifying. We're going to have your starting grid here for you in just a moment, and looking forward to an exciting battle here at the Red Bull Ring. And one has to wonder, Tom, you see the fog in the air, you wonder how the humidity is affecting the grip on the track, and we might check in with some drivers after the race. But in any event, here is your starting grid. Christoph Lip on the pole with a 125.822. Next to him, Myron Iani, about 3.4 seconds behind. Knopes there in P3 next to James Barry, last season's champion. We'll have Thurman next to Berger in 5 and 6. Heinz Braun next to Kjetil Larsen in 7 and 8. Solly Reitinen, Jorge Gonzaga there in row 5. Gordon Hauge will be next to, I believe, a pretty popular streamer, Leah Anderson there in P12. So we'll keep an eye and see how she's going to do today. Dylan Freckleton, great name, driver there in 13, next to Kenji Murata in 14. Philip Weingart next to Carlos Cepeda in 15 and 16. And it's G next to Pepper in 17 and 18. And the brilliantly named Alonso will be next to Rodriguez there in the back of the grid. So as we wait for the lights to tick down, let's see here. That is Lip there. or no, Lip has not gridded. That we're seeing Iani there on the left. So it looks like Lip is going to have the outside entry into turn 1, and there's Lip. He just popped onto the grid. So we should see some lights come up here shortly. And the last week the track was similarly configured where the pole sitter had a little bit of a disadvantage on the turn 1 entry starting from the outside, and with mixed results. So we'll see what Lip can do here if he can get off clean. Remember, folks, no warm-up lap here, so we have got ice cold tires, no traction control, and it can be a challenge to get these puppies off the line. And we are green at the Red Bull Ring, and Iani got a little bit of a jump there, and looks like his teammate Barry is going to try to follow him through as Lip moves over to defend. And going into turn 1, it's Iani from Barry from Lip, and Lip has gotten smoked on the start. He went way wide off of turn 1. That's going to cost him a slowdown and disaster for Lip. It is now Iani from Barry, from Braun, from Thurman. Lip falling 4 positions all the way to P5. And this is turn 2 where they are now, folks. And turn 3, that tough, low-speed right-hander up the hill. We're still got some cars side by side banging a little bit there. You can't go over that curve, or that is an off track, and you can get a slowdown out there as well. So lots of 1Xs, lots of slowdowns all over this track that these drivers are going to have to deal with.
And now down into the hill we go at this famous corner, the right-hander. We're riding on board here to try and see potentially if there are going to be any moves into Sector 3. Typically here, you'd expect Sector 3 to be relatively processional. Sector 1 and 2 definitely where you're expecting to make the majority of your moves. But look at how much the dirty air doesn't affect these radicals. Everyone can follow very, very nicely.
Yeah, nose to tail this time around for sure. And Iani sneaking up behind Barry there. We might see a little bit of bump drafting in this one. Those two are teammates, as you might guess from those matching liveries. And here we are coming back onto the front straight. It's critical to use all the track there, as Tom pointed out during the warm-up, and get a good run down the front straightaway. And it is still, after lap 1, Iani from Barry, from Heinz Braun. Christoph Lip has gotten back one of those positions, now running in P4, and it will be Thurman in 5. And yeah, Iani all over Barry here. I don't know if he fancies a look or if he's just helping defend against Heinz Braun into this low-speed corner. And it looks like Iani is going to take it, and Braun will follow him through. Barry losing 2 positions potentially there. Braun will have the inside to the next corner as well. That's turn 4. And my track map says that is Rauch, which may be Austrian for smoke. And maybe somebody on YouTube can give you an explanation for that track name. And folks, I did have those orders wrong. That was Barry making the pass on Iani. So now it's Barry from Braun, from Iani, from Lip, from Nopez, and all kinds of action here early.
Absolutely. Barry in the lead of the race, though, albeit not with the fastest lap of the race. That goes to Mira Iani. His Lip down in 4th position. Slightly frustrating for him after what was actually a very, very good qualifying session for him. We're looking at Dylan Freckleton down in 13th position because he's trying to get himself past Anderson here down into the final 2 corners of this. Going to get very difficult into this corner. Just pick out that AstroTurf, and Leah Anderson is under all sorts of pressure.
Yeah, and as is Barry, and it's still a processional up front. Is Barry from Braun, from Iani, from Lip, and we saw some moves per position here going into turn 3, and you see Barry covering the inside, and Braun now has him side by side, gone on the outside, heading into turn 3, and can Barry defend here? And oh my goodness, that is excellent car control and excellent trust between those two drivers. Braun sneaks it through on the outside, but really tough to take that corner anything other than single file. So the drivers at the pointy end of this grid showing their skill here. And here is another move. Iani getting pipped here by Lip, who's making his way back through the field after capturing that pole, and Lip is now pushing past Iani as well. So Lip making short work of that early struggle on the start and has put his way, oh my goodness, and that is never a good sign when you see bodywork flying off your car. That is Gabriel Berger, and looks like he looped it and may have gotten a little smooch as he sat there on the track from another competitor. We'll take a look and see if we can see what happened to Berger.
Oh, here they go. very difficult corner on the circuit. I think he's got into the marbles. He had a slight touch, then he's got in the marbles. Someone's following him off, actually, in the background. Why the bonnet fell off, I don't know. But it did.
Yeah, I sure didn't see any contact there unless there's a hood ejection lever in these radicals that we haven't been informed of. But Berger, that's going to have its pluses and minuses. It'll kill his aero, but there won't be anything Schvetti in that cockpit. And here we are back at the front. It is Braun from Barry from Lip. Has moved his way up into P3 now, followed by Quinopez and Ianni, and these laps are ticking by pretty quickly here. They're earning 126s right now. The fast lap by Gordon Hauge, 126.39, and Barry fighting back against Braun, and Braun now potentially exposed to Lip, who's sniffing around his flank. And my goodness, Tom, a lot of action up front here today, and I hope it continues. These races can kind of turn into the front few cars driving away, but it is not happening today.
And here's Sem Nopsch going down into turn 3. I apologise if I've butchered that name. Looks a bit of a dummy. Late move to the inside line, squeezes through. That is a very, very brave move. He's barely had the space to do it, and to be honest with you, I think he broke later. He broke earlier than the car he was trying to attack, but just released the brakes slightly in order to get himself that extra speed and was able to dive down the inside.
Yeah, super sweet move by Nope there, and kind of with a little head fake to the outside, and then smokes Ianni going into the inside of that turn 3. And folks, it is so tough to get these radicals slowed down, lined up, and up that hill without locking up or without losing traction as you accelerate out of that one. So any move that you see down there is just really showing the proficiency of these drivers and the mastery of these radicals. They are a handful, and that corner is maybe the toughest one on the track. So very good job by all the drivers here working that one side by side.
As there goes Sem on the outside line. He's under pressure now from Christoph Lipp, who's on the outside line. James Barry takes the lead of the race back. There's a battle as down the inside goes Braun, and Braun gets through. So James Barry falls into second position for the time being, under pressure as well from Sen-Nopes in third position. And, well, a little bit deep goes Braun. That gives James Barry the run here down into the penultimate corner of the track. Don't think there'll be a move there for him, as he certainly looks to it. Again, just showing his nose slightly, and this battle for the top 3 is going to continue here into lap 6.
Yeah, and this track's so exciting. That last corner there onto the front straightaway, you get some extra assist from gravity as the suspension compresses at the bottom of that hill, and you have a lot more grip all of a sudden there. You have to trust it, got to commit, and got to go for it, because you got to get a good exit out of that one down that long straightaway, or you'll be vulnerable from behind with the massive slipstream of these radicals. And here we are back up at the front. It is Braun from Barry, from Nope, from Lip, from Ianni, and more shuffling up front and more side by side. Lip going wide again here, and Braun as well off into the side. And as I said, there are slowdowns all over the place on this track, and we may have seen a couple slowdown penalties picked up there. And now it is Nopes from Braun, from Barry, from Ianni, and Lip indeed falling down the order. He may be serving a slowdown, and what a performance by Nope. My goodness, he has kind of come out of nowhere. He did qualify P3, but he's now up to first place, and Heinz Braun behind Nope has moved up 5 positions. So we're seeing the podium mix up a little bit here from the usual suspects, Tom.
Oh my word, everyone just flies off the road.
Wow, Mike, and you think that was one of those instances of kind of sympathetic overshooting the braking zone. Sometimes you get focused on the bumper in front of you and follow them right off when they make an error, and we may have seen a little bit of that. And Nope just taking advantage and making it look easy there in one of the most difficult parts of the track, and picks up a couple spots. Now Nope under pressure from Braun into turn 1, and nothing he can do, Tom, with that slipstream. It is over for Nope for now, but he's going to have another crack at it where he showed his stuff on the last lap.
And I would suspect as he goes to the outside line early here, he's going to try and slide around the outside line. He's got himself a nose ahead into the braking zone. Can he do it on the brakes though? Heinz Braun on the inside line gets it, but there'll be a better run here. The switchback very, very powerful out of turn 3. Sem Nopes knows that as he goes down the inside line here, down into turn 4. They'll stay side by side. Will have to do it on the brakes in, looking for the brake marker down the inside line. He goes, Heinz Braun carrying more speed and just about holding on to the position. That's a really, really fantastic bit of braking for Heinz Braun, who gets himself into the lead of the race, but he won't be able to hold on to this for long, that much I'm sure.
Yeah, great defense by Braun, who is up 6 positions. I thought for sure that Nope had it done on that switchback with side-by-side going down the hill. And as you said, Tom, Heinz Braun better on the brakes, even though he was disadvantaged by the outside line. We are seeing some fantastic driving at the pointy end of the grid here. Really good stuff, and we're going to take a quick peek back now. Here is Leah Anderson running in P10, and that she has gained 2 positions now from her starting position, looking forward at Gonzaga and with Freckleton behind. And going to say a quick replay here. I think Anderson pulls off a move. Oh, gotcha. Anderson picks up a couple of freebies there.
Yeah, that was first lap of the race when there was a couple of drivers flying off the road. So Leah now having a look at Jorge Gonzaga down into turn 3 as he have got a battle for the lead again. Semnos into the lead of the race. James Barry needs to be careful because he's got Miriani on the inside line as well. As through the fog we can just about pick out. They're making their way down into turn 4. Heinz Braun to the outside for the lead of the race. Semnos on the inside line gets the better on the brakes, and now James Barry looks to the inside line himself as Miriani gets the inside of James Barry. Can't quite get the extra speed. Heinz Braun now down into turn 5. Can't quite squeeze his way through. Everyone, again, a little bit processional in this part of the track. It's a miracle that they haven't taken each other off yet.
It really is, Tom, and the bravery and car control under braking that we're seeing into turn 3 lap after lap. It's going to be hard to work out our highlight reel out of this one, with multiple occasions of cars going 3 wide into the toughest corner on the track, where it is a handful to get your car through there 1 wide. So really outstanding stuff here. We're about at the halfway point, beating lap 9 of 17. And it is Nope from Braun, from Barry, from Iani, from Thurman. So there are a couple of our frequent flyers up there in the top 5, namely Barry, Iani, and Braun. But Nope, Thurman, Lip, all up there are not usual participants here. So we are seeing some outstanding stuff from some of the new drivers to the series, and really hoping that that continues. And another side-by-side entry into turn 3, and these guys are putting on a clinic. Outstanding expertise here at a very, very difficult track. Holy cow.
Yeah, exactly, and the battling is about as intense as it gets, as now we're almost 3 wide as James Barry senses the opportunity to go down the inside line and can't quite find his way through. No, he can on the exit of the corner. James Barry gets through. There'll be a chance now back down the inside line. Maybe no. James Barry's second position.
Wow, and what a move by Barry. And again, that's another difficult spot there going into turn 4. Rauch corner under braking. It's off camber, it's downhill, and you have to be very patient getting on the throttle. There is a lot going on there, and for James Barry, one thing that's going on is getting past Heinz Braun. He has moved up into P2, and now he's looking at about a 3 or 4 tenths gap ahead to P1, and watch Barry stuff it down the inside here. And I think, Tom, it looked to me like he might have caught Braun napping. Maybe Braun was focused on Nope and didn't realize that Barry had his number, but Barry, the opportunist, gets it done and has moved up into P2.
And, well, now some Nopes in the lead of the race. James Barry putting him under pressure. There's a little bit of moving in the braking zone there. That's very, very cheeky. Just about get away with it. I'm pretty sure he moved over slightly to cover off James Barry into the brakes. Now they'll go into turn 4 once again. Barry probably a little bit too far back to make a move here. His exit was just compromised slightly. That's very aggressive defensive driving, and just about okay here in this race. 2 retirements, by the way. I believe Hogg has retired. Murata's retired as well, by the looks of things.
Yeah, and we'll if we have a chance to talk to James Barry, we may ask him about that defense, and if defense is the word that he would choose there. But one thing we haven't talked about yet here, Tom, is tire wear. And another thing I kind of picked up on my practice laps this week here at the Red Bull Ring is the potential to blow the front tires off of these cars. It's kind of tempting to fall into a habit of riding the understeer all the way around these long corners, and these radicals really don't like that. They'll blow the front tires right off. So we may see some of the more experienced radical drivers in a better position in relation to tire wear as the race winds down toward the conclusion. We definitely have seen that in the past. So people like Nopes may not have a lot of seat time in these radicals, and they may get caught by surprise by a front tire drag as we get closer to the end.
As now James Barry looks to the inside line, but tucks back in behind before really being able to make that move, as now he's 0.3 of a second as we go down at the straight. He's closing and closing and closing. This is a battle for 6th position. Getty Larson just behind. Now Barry has a little look to the outside, but again, it's 0.2 of a second by the time he goes down, as we've got side-by-side action with Iani around the outside of Heinz Braun. They'll be banging wheels. Iani's almost off the racetrack. Heinz Braun squeezing his way through. They stay side by side, down on the brakes into turn 5. Iani makes a very, very nice move.
Wow, such a brave move by Iani, and my goodness, Iani and Braun maintaining control of those radicals as they're banging right at the limit of their adhesion. That can create some moments when you don't have any grip left. Just a nudge from a competitor can be enough to make the car break loose, but both of them kept it on the track that time. And Nope's going really wide there in that back section. You do have to drive in the green there, but if you get off the green, it is a 1X and can be a slowdown. And look at this squeeze against the wall here. Oh my goodness, talk about aggressive defense. Iani versus Braun. Iani pushing him all the way to the pit wall there, and Braun does not care, stuffs it down the inside, and now Braun is weaving, and tempers may be flaring a little bit here, Tom.
Maybe they've been racing very, very hard, and will be 3 wide here as well, with Thurman just behind almost, as Heinz Braun goes to the inside line, makes a very simple move. Will give, though, the run to Iani here for that final podium spot. We've only got a handful of laps left in this race, and Iani is closing a lot, but he's going to have to go the long way around side by side, as Leo Anderson on a really good drive here looks to the inside line. Iani is into 3rd. Leo Anderson to the inside looking for 7th, gets it ahead of Larson. Heinz Braun still jockeying for position with Iani, but can't quite find a way through, as Anderson has to defend, and does.
Yeah, that is great work by Leah Anderson, who is up 5 from her qualifying, and she kind of smoked Kettle Larson there, and he is one of our frequent flyers and an experienced radical driver. So very good work by Leah Anderson as she works her way up through the field. She'll have Larson behind, so she'll need to defend, of course, but really good stuff to get her up into P7. And here we are back to the leaders. It is Nope still from Barry, from Braun, and Nopes will pass the start finish to begin lap 13. So only 5 remaining here. And Tom, I think I see a back marker up ahead, and there is enough time left where that back marker may be playing a role in the order of the podium here, potentially. Normally on these short sprint races, we don't see back markers involved in this, but Murata is definitely going to be involved, with the leaders very close coming up behind him. Oh, and here's Larson. Larson wants that position back from Leah Anderson, and Leah says, no, I can outdo you. I can outbreak you on the outside line, and Anderson showing some great defense there.
For sure, and well, I thought Murata was out the race, but he's not. In fact, he is now in the sights of the race leader, so it's not gone to plan for him. Blue flag's only informational here, remember. He has no obligation to move over and let them force them out of the way at the moment, but you'd hope that he does make it quite easy for them. That being said, I don't think it necessarily is too bad here for Nopes that he has got that car in front of him, because it means he's got some slipstream and can defend for a lap.
Yeah, absolutely. If he plays it right, and it looks like it could happen here as they're about to come onto the front straight, he may be able to take advantage of the draft from Miata. And there's Murata moving out of the way. Good sportsmanship from him, and he did get some gentle suggestions to move over iRacing comms in the latter half of that lap. And here is Nopes from Barry, and Barry has got that gap down to about 1 postage stamp, and we'll see what happens here when we get to turn 3. Of course, this little minor kink here counts as turn 2. And is Barry going to make a play here, Tom, or do you think he may bide his time and save his move for later in the race?
I think he'll save his move for later in the race. Dylan Freckleton's managed to get himself past Larson. Larson goes back down the inside line, but Freckleton holds on. I think James Barry, we see it so often. He's one of the drivers who knows all about biding his time and being sensible for his move.
Yeah, and that may be a change in position between Lip and Thurman getting him back here. So Lip's race not going how I don't think anybody was expecting. Lip may have been the #1 car in this split. Yeah, it looks like he was. So Lip had difficulties on that start, worked his way back up, and then has kind of been left behind by these hard-charging drivers up front: Nopes, Barry, Braun, and Iani. And Thurman a little bit back from that train right now. We're riding along with him as we come through the final corner onto that front straightaway. And we're beginning lap 15 of 17, 3 left here. And again, Tom, we may start to see some of these folks struggle with those front tires depending upon how they've been abusing them. You do have to be careful riding that understeer in these radicals.
So 2 predominant battles really going on the track at the moment. Leo Anderson is one of them, with Dylan Freckleton trying to attack her, and James Barry into the lead of the race. He's swapping and jostling for position with Sem Nopes. As here goes Dylan Freckleton down the inside line. Leo Anderson won't have much to say about that, as back attacking for the lead, as we've seen Dylan all the way on the outside of Leo Anderson. Nopes back into the lead of the race as well. And, well, as Dylan Freckleton stays on the outside line, we switch for the battle for the lead as they stay side by side running, and James Barry's chosen his opportunity. Now is the chance. Heinz Braun looking to follow Sem through as James on the outside line. Oh no, Heinz Braun goes deep. That's going to allow Miriani to slide through on the inside line. James Barry then second position. Miriani now into the podium running.
Wow, and there it was, Tom. Braun plowing a little bit there, washed out of that corner, which definitely can happen on these radicals. And watching the timing tower, I think Nopes and Barry changed positions 5 or 6 times in rapid succession there. So they spent a lot of that lap side by side. Barry probing, testing. He is a strategic master here, and he may have just been kind of making plans for the next 2 laps. He's got 2 laps left if he wants to make a move, and it is still Nopes from Barry, from Iani, with Braun kind of hanging on within draft range. Lip, Thurman, Anderson, Freckleton behind.
So penultimate lap of the race, James Barry is pretty happy to sit where he's sitting at the moment. Sem Nopes, his time to defend is running out, and he's happy about that. James Barry gets the exit then as they make their way down the hill into the next corner. James is trying not to make the move really here, as dives the inside line. Now this surely should be the move into turn 4, and is. Sem Nopes though gets the better run, the tidier run, and cuts the lines back across to get himself ahead. They've got Miriani for company as well. Miriani and James Barry are teammates as well, of course, so they're going to be helping each other. But as we head into the final lap of this race, all of a sudden it's Sem Nopes defending for his life.
Oh my goodness, and that switchback, Tom. How many of those have we seen? And here's Leah Anderson still fighting with Freckleton. Freckleton gets the move done, and now Anderson has Kettle Larson sniffing around behind her. So that is a non-stop battle. We'll go back up to the front. It is Nopes from Barry, from Iani. Still that tight train, 1, 2, 3. And Nopes going a little wide there. You see the dirt flying off from the edge of that AstroTurf. And what is Nopes going to do this time? All the action has been going into turn number 3. We haven't seen many moves here into turn 1, so we're expecting to see something here. This is the white flag lap, and you got to think Barry is going to try something now.
As this time there's a chance for James Barry to the outside line. Sem Nopes, this is his last couple of opportunities to try and defend the inside line, but that will give James Barry the run here out of turn 2 and turn 3, excuse me, as now he doesn't really get the run. Sem goes defensive very early here down into turn 4 then, and James has to go to the outside line. Mariniami is under pressure from Heinz Braun as well. We're side by side for the lead as Nopes just holds on for now. That should potentially be the move that sees him win this race, but James Barry will go to the inside line. This could be a fantastic move, and it is. James Barry seizes the opportunity. Seb is back, crossing the lines over to try and get himself back ahead. He'll have the inside line here into the left-hander. It's such a fast corner, and he gets back into the lead. So James Barry led this race for all of a few meters as we make our way into the final 2 corners. Miridiani now on the inside line.
Yeah, Iani making a move here. He at least had a little peek. He thought about getting by Barry, didn't have the velocity, and here we are coming back onto the front straightaway, and Nopes has done it. It's going to be Nopes from Barry, from Iani, from Braun, from Lip. Looks like your top 5. And oh my goodness, Tom, this might, oh, and there's Larson. Larson and Anderson have come to blows there, and Anderson may have backed out of that to give that position back. We'll go back and see if we can learn anything from the replay there. But my goodness, Tom, that fight between Nope and Barry, I'm not sure if I have seen better racing in a couple years of calling these races. That was epic.
That was really epic, and here's a final lap move for Ketty Larson on the outside line of Leah Anderson. There's a slight tap, and she's going to wait up for him as well, so very fair play to those drivers. I think that was pretty innocuous. We've got a replay of what happened on the last lap. JR, your take on this?
Oh my goodness! I was listening a little bit to the chatter. It sounds like Anderson and Larson are speaking, but look at this! Look at those switchbacks. How many of those did we see? My goodness! This was just fantastic, Tom. I don't even know where to begin. The fights up front, the 2 and 3 wide into turn 3, lap after lap, the constant over-unders through the S's there. That was epic.
It really was, and right on board with James Barry. This was the moment I thought he'd won the race, actually, as he was shown the outside line, squeezed down the inside line. The problem is he was squeezed so far down the inside line that it meant he went a little bit deep into the corner, and that just allowed that run back on the inside for the next one for Nopes, and that is always, every day of the week, going to give you the opportunity to go back down the inside and win the race, as we saw.
You know, looking at that move again, Tom, I almost feel like Nopes might have been playing the Matador a little bit there, tempting James Barry into overcooking that entry. And you saw James Barry washing out with the understeer there in the first part of the S's, which will happen late in these races. So Nopes might have demonstrated some racecraft here. Now let's watch this. Go ahead and stick it in there. And Barry's definitely washing to the outside, and Nopes immediately goes to the inside like he knew it was coming. So Nopes really showing his mastery of the Red Bull Ring here, and unfortunately, I'm afraid that you and I have both probably said his name wrong about 100 times in this coverage. So maybe he'll stop by the booth and set us straight. But holy cow, that was absolutely epic, folks. I am not sure if I've seen a better radical race, but. While I calm myself here and catch a breath and take a swig of my non-alcoholic beverage here, we will get those results up for you. But wow, what a race.
Yeah, fantastic race. That was, well, pretty interesting all the way throughout. Never mind towards the end. But in the end, it is Sem Nopes who wins this race by a tenth of a second ahead of James Barry, Miran Iani. The rest of your podium with Heinz Braun and Christoph Lipp both in contention in the top 5. Mike Thurman finishes in 6th position with Dylan Freckleton making a last lap move for 7th. Jorge Gonzaga is in 8th position with Getty Larson and Leah Anderson, the rest of your top 10. Sully Rattanen is in 11th position with Philip Weingartz in 12th. It's then Damien G in 13th with Carlos Cepeda and Alex Pepper, the rest of your top 15. Lo Rodriguez is in 16th position with Juan Pablo Alonso and Gabriel Berger, the rest of your top 18. These drivers finishing, unfortunately, a little bit of a ways down. Kenji Murata and Gordon Haig, your last 2 drivers.
Ooh, oh my goodness. So as we gather our senses after that barrage of adrenaline that I think everybody here experienced, and here is Sem. So I saw James Barry waiting out there, and Sem has joined as well. And so Tom, I will hand Sem, our race leader winner, off to you, and maybe you can correct that pronunciation if we're going to see Sem in future races.
So, Sem, welcome to the stream. That was a really, really fantastic drive. First of all, I need to speak about that move on the final lap. You defended really well, and you defended well enough to go back under and take the win.
Yeah, of course. I mean, coming to that corner, you already know, like, if he's going to go to the outside, you're always going to wash out. So I knew he was either I had the win or he was going to dive down the inside. So once he put his nose in down the inside, all I really had to do was make sure he went deep, and yeah, just went down under him. So it was perfect.
Yeah, absolutely was. And how did you manage the traffic today? Because you spent a lot of time, leading, but also a lot of time in second.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't really do much practice for this race, so I kind of just went in. Not prepared, so I don't know if you saw the start, but I started third and I think I dropped back to about 8th. So I made my way through the field, and then yeah, just kind of I wanted to be in the lead all the way through, because then I had it in my own hands. I was in control, so it was good. From the whenever I got to the lead, I was comfortable just leading from there and having it in my own hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, myself and JR have been anglicising your name pretty horrendously. Could you let us know how it's pronounced? I believe it's Sem Nopes.
Yeah, so I'm Dutch, so it would be Nopes if I was English, but it's Sem Knoopjes with a K, so the K isn't silent. But you guys are not the first to make that, well, not really a mistake, but to say it that way.
Well, thank you very much. Hopefully we see you again soon.
Yeah, no worries, lads. Hope that was fun.
It was
I didn't realize it was streamed race. I did about 5 laps of practice, hopped in, and then realized it was a high soft, and asked the question about why it was a high soft, and found out it was broadcasted. So I'll watch that back, and yeah, cheers for the commentary, and hope you guys have a good night.
Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. That was Sem Knoopjes then. I think I probably butchered that after he's told me his pronunciation as well. We'll speak to James Barry now. JR, James Barry waiting.
James Barry, oh my goodness, that was a hell of a race. You were right in the thick of it throughout, and he just had us correctly pronounce his name. I think it's Knoopjes up front there with you, but my goodness, all the action into turn 3, all the over-unders there, and so close to victory there. So what are your impressions of today's race from the Red Bull Ring?
I won't try and pronounce Sem's surname either, but what a race. Yeah, that was one of the best races probably I've had in these broadcast races in terms of the action. This track, it's an awkward track, but it has a great balance between overtaking and defending. You really have to work for the move. And it was just about survival, because, you know, we had like 4 or 5 cars who were kind of vying for the lead at different times. And in that situation, you're just trying to look after yourself, trying to not be on the receiving end of, you know, someone running wide or something, especially in the hairpin. I remember a couple of times I had a couple of people at my inside and they're fighting each other. I'm trying to go around the outside. It's pretty scary at times, but you just have to persevere. And in the end, it all worked out well when Sem went to the lead, and then he had good pace, and I managed to follow him away from Heinz and Myron behind us. And then, yeah, amazing fight in the last lap. I tried to dive down his inside, braked a little bit later than I had to, really. Just lost the rear end. He got back on the inside, and yeah, he did a great job. So amazing race in the end.
Yeah, and I know you'll go back and check out the broadcast, but it seemed like we saw a couple drivers washing out there where you attempted that final overtake in that first right-hander, or first left-hander rather, in the S's. So did tire wear play a role at all today, or was that just sticking it in too far?
No, I don't think this track has much tire wear, but no, it was just me. I was braking late just to make sure that I actually made a decisive move, so that I'm not just going to like flip his inside. I wanted to actually be alongside into that corner. So I knew I wanted to brake late, but I just got it a bit too late, and then yeah, I just ran wide. So unfortunately, I think I could have pulled it off, but it's 50-50 there. We can go either way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I bet if the same field raced 10 times, you would have 10 different results. That was absolutely epic, and I know you'll go back and watch the broadcast. It was super fun for us, so enjoy that. And as we wrap up here, is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to today?
I had to shout out everyone in the race. I mean, Sam and everyone else Christoph as well. We don't always see him in the broadcast, but it's really nice to race against these guys in a broadcast race and have an amazing race like that. So shout out everyone who turns up.
All right. Thank you very much, James. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. And folks, that was James Berry, last season's champ and P2 in this one here at Red Bull Ring. And my goodness, I am still catching my breath from that. And we're going to have to go back and pick out the highlights, Tom. And I'm not exactly sure what my highlight is going to be. All those switchbacks, a couple of outside passes into turn 3. It's hard to distinguish who won the merit badge today, but we saw some great driving.
We absolutely did, and the Red Bull Ring absolutely set up for these cars. Well, excited for the next round now.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, we are not just about these radicals here at Apex Racing TV. We have some of the best esports drivers, some of the best cars, and some of the best tracks in the business. And it will continue this weekend on Sunday. Racing Unleashed will bring an LMP2 challenge to Silverstone. And on Monday, we'll kick off the month of July strong with Rick Matek Sports Car Series multi-class racing at Watkins Glen. So be sure and subscribe to Apex Racing TV and hit that little notification icon to make sure that you don't miss any of the action. And boy, speaking of action, this is absolutely one of the best radical races that I have ever seen. It was fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us. J.R. Gregory here on behalf of myself, Tom Dillon, and our producer, Joshua Wilkie. Happy Friday and have a fantastic weekend.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.